up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough
Hey everyone, what's up? Can you hear me? Allie, Marty, hi. I don't know if you're still here, Marty. Hey, Wacky Tacky. This freaking little dog. Just won't shut up. I don't know what she's barking at. Okay, how is everybody today? It's finally warmed up some here, thank God. Winnie, hush it. Today, we're going to be going over some Elliot Rodger in the Idaho 4 case. And all that good stuff. And my little dog here won't hush. Winnie, hush it. Let's see here. Yes, she's telling y'all hello. My little wiener's on to y'all. She barks if the damn wind blows outside, I swear. And once she gets stuck on something barking, she don't shut up. Frank, hey, bro. Oh, bro. Okay, first off, I got a lot I want to go over today. So, let me see here. Just 1 second. What's everybody up to today? It's fine Tuesday. We're going to watch a little documentary on Elliot Rodger. I do got it fast forward. So anybody that's interested in all this, just bear with me and let's watch this. And I will share the StreamYard link in case anybody wants to come up here. You and your damn chippy. Frank loves him some chippy. Fish and chips. I know what that means now. I just want some chips, no fish. Oh, looks like I'm on both channels. Shit, didn't mean to do that. It's spitting rain here. Spitting. I know what that means. It's usually spitting snow here. That's what I would say that for. Ice, no, fuck that. Splitting rain, spitting rain, spitting rain. Keep that rain, Allie. I don't want it. Yeah, it's spitting ice. I'd rather have snow than ice. Fuck that. So, who is familiar with Elliot Rodger besides what I showed yesterday? Did y'all get snow there, Allie? Okay, I'm going to jump into this. Let's get us rolling here. I actually came on time this time, kind of, you all. You should be proud of me. I made it.
Oh, check it out. There's me. In all my fabulousness. I am so awesome.
Hello?
See guys like this. Oh wait, no. Not guys like those. Those guys were ugly as fuck, but I would stop at nothing to reduce every single one of you.
Shots fired, shots fired.
I've been doing a lot of thinking about how sad and unfair my life has been. All because girls haven't been attracted to me.
The man you're looking at is 22-year-old YouTuber Elliot Rodger. This video is one of many he recorded lamenting his obsession with his love life, or lack thereof. Although his growing anger went ignored, there were countless other red flags throughout Elliot's life that he was plotting something horrific. But no one could have ever predicted just how disturbing his true thoughts were.
Well, this is my last video.
Or how far he would go to seek his retribution.
Tomorrow is the day of retribution.
But if you think you knew just how disturbing his thoughts were, think again. Through since-removed homemade videos, many that have never been seen before, you'll soon learn the rabbit hole goes deeper than you think.
Guys like this.
In the infamous case of Elliot Rodger.
911, what's the address of the emergency? I'm at Ivy Deli. Your guy thinks somebody else is on the line. Okay. I don't know what just happened. Okay. Were you injured? Were you injured? Okay, where are you? Somebody else's. We're at Ivy Deli in Alchester. Okay, you're at Ivy Deli and somebody shot? Yeah. Okay.
The frantic 911 call you just heard was made after someone witnessed a terrifying encounter at a local restaurant in Santa Barbara, California. Minutes before, the well-known eatery was filled with hungry college students set on having a late-night snack. But unbeknownst to the customers, a vicious and diabolical killer was heading their way, who would soon haunt the vulnerable college town.
Hey, Elliot Rodger here. Just took a nice walk in the park. Check out that sunset. Today I'm at the golf course, though I don't actually play golf. I only come here to admire the whole beauty and serenity of the place. It's one of the few places where I can come and truly have a sense of escape. It's my place of refuge. The sunlight's about to fade, so I'll end this video soon. Yeah. Childhood. It all has to come to this. I'm 22 years old, and I'm still a virgin. I've never even kissed a girl. You forced me to suffer all my life, and now I'll make you all suffer. I've waited a long time for this. I'll give you exactly what you deserve, all of you. All you girls who rejected me and looked down upon me, and all of you men for living a better life than me, all of you sexually active men. I hate you. I hate all of you. I can't wait to give you exactly what you deserve.
To truly understand how he came to commit such an atrocity, we have to start at the beginning. Before moving to America, the Rodgers lived a simple life in London, and they embarked on thrilling trips around the world. Elliot recalled his childhood as memories of happiness and bliss, recollections that would soon be overshadowed by anger and indignation. He enjoyed activities typical that of a young boy, skateboarding, video games, playing outside, and reading. So how did this seemingly normal kid transform into a vicious mass murderer?
Elliot Rodger here. And here I am at Serrania Park, the most significant place of my childhood. I wish I could be a kid again. Those were the happy years, and I could just live my life without realizing how cruel the world really is.
According to Lee Jen Rodger, Elliot's mother, Elliot was a withdrawn and shy child growing up who enjoyed hanging out with his friends and family.
My mom just ordered me the book I've been waiting for so long. This is so awesome. I'm going to read it now.
He would often write down what he wished to say, rather than speaking aloud, possibly indicating that Elliot had developed social anxiety from an early age. After moving to America at the age of 5, Elliot's parents enrolled him in a private school where he made his first friend in the States, a young girl in the same class. Looking back, it was very ironic that his first friend after the move was a girl, considering that she would quickly become everything that Elliot despised.
My parents used to always take me here when I was a kid. Back when my life was happy and fair. Back when I thought the world was fair. How naive I was. I was only an innocent child.
Although Elliot would come to hate many people, his love for his family would remain. However, a few months after Elliot's 7th birthday, he was saddened to hear that his parents would be getting a divorce. Following the split, Peter Rodger, Elliot's father, introduced Elliot to a woman named Sumaya, his soon-to-be stepmother. Although Elliot thought it was very sudden that his father had found a new girlfriend, Elliot admired him for acquiring a fresh relationship as quickly as he did. This is when Elliot's mindset switched. He came to believe that being attractive meant you would achieve more in life, something he would continue to believe for the rest of his life. At the age of 9, Elliot developed strong feelings of jealousy and envy. He would become angry if one of his friends played with someone else and did not like the idea of sharing. Although this can be typical of young children, these intense emotions would eventually dictate Elliot's state of being for the remainder of his life.
This is my usual sunset spot, mainly because there's rarely any young couples here that I would get jealous of.
He craved attention and thought that if he dressed in fashionable clothes and bleached his hair, that his status in the so-called hierarchy would ascend. But as time went on, Elliot found himself to be an outcast.
I've been cast out. No one likes me. No one accepts me. All my life I've been struggling to fit in with the popular kids. I've been struggling to get a girlfriend. No one has ever accepted me.
In an attempt to help the young child, Elliot's parents began taking him to psychiatrists. These visits became routine throughout Elliot's life, but unfortunately, no one was able to prevent the horrific events to come.
Hey, Elliot Roger here. I'm sitting in my car, making another entry in my collection of vlogs. Ever since I hit puberty, I've wanted girls. I've desired girls. I've been sexually attracted to girls. But they've never shown any attraction back to me.
Elliot stated that his joyful existence
Hey, wifey Ella, hey.
his prolonged vendetta against the female species. Identifying as the invisible kid in school, Elliot began acting out to gain attention, to which he undoubtedly succeeded. He was teased by his fellow classmates and remembered one girl in particular that would regularly berate Elliot with her friends. Elliot began to hate all girls because of this. Regardless, his entire existence from here on out revolved around one goal: acquiring a girlfriend. Although he possessed a strong hatred for the young classmate, he believed that having a girlfriend would make him happy. But as he grew older, the promise of accomplishing such a task seemed to become almost impossible. Elliot went on to use this fact as a twisted justification to commit an unthinkable crime. We cannot draw any conclusions regarding the likelihood that Elliot had a personality disorder, but his intense desire for attention is a key feature of narcissistic personality disorder.
You denied me a happy life. You deprived me of sex. And I will take great pleasure in denying you life. It's only fair.
Elliot became depressed into his teen years due to the fact that he transferred through multiple schools and was continually bullied at each one. Not long after, his parents resorted to homeschool. His social anxiety worsened, and he was prescribed Xanax and Prozac, but stopped taking them after a year. It came to a point that at the age of 16, he broke down at a family friend's dinner and confessed that he wished to commit. This was due to the fact that one of the girls at the dinner had invited her cool friend,
Hey, Sonia. Hey, love. Good to see you.
the cool kid group. Additionally, he grew upset about the lack of attention from girls that he desired and felt disgusted when he would see others in relationships.
I've concluded that females have a very flawed and perverted form of sexual attraction.
After high school, Elliot attended Pierce Community College, where his behavior became increasingly aggressive. Remaining an outcast, he was supposedly attacked by fellow students, including an incident where 4 young men threw eggs at him while Elliot was walking back to his mother's house. Elliot retaliated by throwing an egg at their car, causing the men to initiate a fight. He was armed with a knife and brandished it to scare the boys off. After this incident, he felt powerful and would soon invoke similar acts. Elliot maintained a few friends throughout his college experience, but his extreme views on women and the world had put a strain on their relationship. Elliot felt even more slighted by this. He eventually dropped out of Pierce and enrolled at Moore Park, but then transferred to Santa Barbara City College, where he studied history and geography, although his focus remained on his anger towards other people.
This world, it's so twisted. It's so cruel. And you girls make it cruel.
While attending Santa Barbara City College, Elliot moved into an apartment in Isla Vista and soon began exploring his new surroundings. He would frequent the local Starbucks, where inevitably he often witnessed couples waiting in line. On one occasion, he supposedly became so infuriated at a specific couple that he followed them out of the establishment before splashing them with hot coffee. He apparently did the same to 2 girls on a separate occasion that didn't show him the attention he thought he deserved. Elliot felt triumphant after his unprovoked attacks and quickly realized that he was capable of doing much more.
I'm so angry right now. I was enjoying a peaceful time at this beach park, and what comes to sit in front of me? A young couple, a guy with his hot girlfriend. I mean, who do they think they are? Coming here, sitting in front of me to make me feel jealous? This is the reason why I hate the world. This is getting too out of hand. I can't go anywhere anymore without seeing these young couples getting jealous and having them remind me of what I'm lacking in life.
Narcissistic people are extremely hypersensitive to criticism and rejection and can become angry, spiteful, and violent towards anyone whom they perceive as mistreating them or not giving them the special treatment they feel they deserve. This is not only due to the narcissist's fragile self-esteem, but also because they feel they are special and unique, and should therefore be accepted, welcomed, and admired by all those they interact with. Undeniably, this seemed to be the case for young Elliot. He was still very intent on having a girlfriend and thought that becoming rich would make him more attractive to girls. Using the monthly allowance from his parents, he spent this on high-end clothes, including brands such as Armani and Hugo Boss.
Right now I'm wearing my Hugo Boss shirt. It's one of my favorite button-down shirts. This is a shirt I wore to the premiere of The Hunger Games. I look fabulous. And yeah, I did walk on the red carpet on that premiere. It's quite an experience indeed.
He strived to look of extreme wealth and felt that he was superior to all other men when doing so. He even spent $700 on lottery tickets and took multiple trips to Arizona to purchase them, but failed to win. He felt hopeless about his life, and it was around this time when Elliot considered the idea of carrying out a deadly act of revenge. Okay,
we're going to stop there a minute. Is everybody understanding what's going on here with this guy? Mr. Here says something about his sick manifesto. I do have his manifesto. I'd like to go over that manifesto, but it's like 141 pages long. It's crazy. Crazy. I believe it was 2014, Sunshine, I believe it was. (2012). Let me see. I can't remember exactly. I think it was May of 2014. Yeah, 2014. May of 2014. He well, it'll tell it in this. It'll tell more about what he done. It's very interesting. Like, I had knew about this guy before this case, before the Idaho 4 case. Well, hi. Where'd you come from? Yep, Sonia. Yep. He's an incel. Elliot Rodger was an incel. Okay, let's continue.
Hang on. I heard you saying, that's why I jumped up. You want to go over the manifesto?
Yeah, it's too long though.
No. How much do you love me?
I don't know. Hush, Winnie.
Well, I won't tell you what I found then.
My wiener's talking to you. You got my wiener all uptight.
Yeah, I found the manifesto in audio.
Oh, that would be great. I thought about doing like a few-part series on it, going over so much every day or whatever.
It's broke down into episodes, this is, but it's not on YouTube. It's not on anything like that. It's actually some podcast thing. I've never seen the site before, but I've got it and I have sent it to you.
Okay. How long is it? Oh, you said it's in episodes?
I only played to check what it was, and it's basically, do you know what you was basically it's the manifesto being read out, so saves you reading it out and all that, and it's broken down into episodes. If you could scroll down, there's like episodes, so you could record them and maybe upload 2 at a time as a video. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, that's what I do.
Yeah, I've never seen a manifesto so long, though. 141 pages. It's crazy.
But it's exactly what he wants to write, and it's exactly what he wants people to hear.
It's like his whole life in his manifesto from the day he was born.
Do you not see the links between him and Tate?
No.
The only difference is Tate got money. Tate had money, so Tate got to, and so he got to.
Tate's pretty good looking though. He's not ugly. He's not.
A lot of plastic surgery and all.
True, but
a lot of people disagree.
Tate's got more money than him.
Tate was born a millionaire. That's why he can sit there and tell us that he struggled growing up, but his dad was a millionaire. He went to private school. I know that. and he got bullied all his life. Ooh. Oh, you broke my phone.
I didn't break nothing. Okay, can
Oh,
we
God bless you.
continue listening to this?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Frank.
He deemed it the day of retribution.
It's truly a beautiful day. But, as I've always said, a beautiful environment is the darkest hell if you have to experience it all alone. And sadly, I've been alone for a very long time. I do everything I can to appear attractive to you. I dress nice. I'm sophisticated and magnificent. I have a nice car, a BMW. Well, it's nicer than 90% of the people in my college. You know, I'm polite. I'm the ultimate gentleman. And yet, you girls, you never give me a chance. I don't know why. You know, I put a lot of effort into dressing nice. These sunglasses here were $300. Giorgio Armani. So I'll put them on. See? I'm the guy you should be going for, not those obnoxious slobs you love so much. I don't know why you're not attracted to me. I don't know what you don't see in me. I'll make sure you all pay for it.
Elliot's speech and mannerisms are similar to that of individuals with developmental delays, specifically autism spectrum disorder. The dialect can be recognized as monotone and flat, but in some cases it can be exaggerated with the use of very formal vocabulary, as is the case with Elliot.
You've deprived me of love and affection all my life. And that's a declaration of war. If it's war you want, then war you shall have.
Adults with autism spectrum disorder sometimes speak and behave in a manner that mimics a favorite TV or movie character. Elliot seemed to have been doing this as he appeared to be impersonating the words and facial expressions of an evil villain. It would later be confirmed that Elliot was diagnosed with Asperger's disorder, which is now known as autism spectrum disorder. But in no way does this correlate with his actions.
I'm going to show you all a short little tour of this college town called Isla Vista. Every time I drive through this place, I am overcome with rage. Here it is. I'm approaching a street called Del Playa. So many beautiful girls walking around here. They would never give me a chance. See, look at that one. I just passed one. Here we go. Look at this. Groups of hot young sluts who would just reject me. And look at these douchebags right here. These assholes, these obnoxious little slobs. Those are the kind of guys that girls like, instead of magnificent gentlemen like myself. Hold on, let me check if I'm getting some good footage. Am I?
To fuel his rage, he would also scour the streets of Isla Vista at night, hoping to find couples and beautiful young women to chastise from his car.
You're an asshole.
This further indicates Elliot's sense of grandiosity, as he likely felt a surge of confidence while stating the insults. It's noteworthy that he makes these comments from the safety of his car, rather than confronting the ongoers face to face, giving him the feeling that he had the upper hand.
Here I am, Elliot Rodger. Beautiful, magnificent gentleman. Though the girls around this town don't see it. This world does not make sense.
This revulsion for people in relationships compelled Elliot to share his thoughts in online forums, one of them being bodybuilding.com, where he writes, "It's been my life's struggle to get a beautiful white girl." Along with this, authorities located several other posts written by Elliot that continue to expound his fury for women, such as "Women don't deserve rights," and "They are evil, sadistic beasts who whore themselves out to degenerate men and ignore the men who actually deserve them." There were about 28 pages filled with similar rhetoric, each post more hostile than the last.
Look, that's the house I got beat up at when I walked in on the party. That was about almost a year ago now.
The beating that Elliot referred to happened during the summer of 2013. While at a house party, Elliot was jumped by a group of college kids before being pushed off of a 10-foot balcony. He stated that they were trying to hurt him without reason, but the truth was later revealed that Elliot had attempted to shove multiple girls off of the balcony after making gestures to imitate shooting a gun towards the partygoers. A group of young men intervened, and of course, Elliot lied about what happened to his family and the police. Once again, he was furious that the girls didn't take an interest to him and violently retaliated. The violent party event would be Elliot's last straw.
See, guys like this. Oh, wait, no. Not guys like those. Those guys were ugly as fuck, but... See, look here. A house party. Beautiful girls talking with their frat boys. I hate them all. They think they're better than me. They'll never accept me as one of them. Those girls would never go for me.
During the later months of 2013, Elliot received 2 new roommates, students at UCSB, who he greatly disliked. Their arguments seemed to be a daily occurrence, and Elliot even reported one of the young men to the local authorities for stealing his candles. The 2 friends found Elliot to be strange and obnoxious and planned to report him to their complex manager. The tension would continuously rise, but unfortunately, the pair would eventually meet a cold and cruel fate.
The girls are not attracted to me. And there's a major problem with that. A major problem. That's a problem that I intend to rectify.
In preparation for the unforgettable day, it was discovered that Elliot read books on mass murderers and serial killers at the library, but would never actually take the literature home.
I will not let this fly. It's an injustice that needs to be dealt with.
He would also research various torture equipment, such as Spanish Inquisition torture devices, but it was later revealed in a recovered document just how far he was willing to go to attain his satisfaction. Following Elliot's chilling preparation, the day had finally come for the twisted mind to take his revenge.
Well, this is my last video. It all has to come to this. Tomorrow is the day of retribution. The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity, against all of you. Well, this is it. This is my last video. It all has to come to this. Tomorrow is the day of retribution.
It's evident here that Elliot is bordering on delusion with this bizarre performance. It's possible that his off-putting personality, so to say, is exactly what ostracized him from his peers. But Elliot's vindictive persona would propel him to organize a horrific attack. Before his day of retribution, it was discovered that Elliot had sent a disturbing email to his parents, therapists, and acquaintances, entitled My Twisted World. This would later be known as Elliot's Manifesto, where he detailed his anger and frustrations toward the world, specifically women. Not only that, but the killer also went into chilling detail about what he really had planned for the vulnerable town of Isla Vista.
Minutes ago, I finally checked my email. I saw this letter. It's from Elliot Roger, who's a Santa Barbara City College student. It's 141 pages. So when you get to the end, which is where I went to immediately, page 134, it's a very detailed attack they plan on taking in Isla Vista, including shooting people and driving in a car to intentionally run over pedestrians and then shoot themselves.
You girls have never been attracted to me. I don't know why you girls aren't attracted to me, but I will punish you all for it. It's an injustice, a crime, because I don't know what you don't see in me. I'm the perfect guy. And yet you throw yourselves at all these obnoxious men instead of me, the supreme gentleman. I will punish all of you for it.
Elliot's maniacal laugh
Hey, Lycan, what's up?
smile is likely feigned. Fake smiles are one of the most common nonverbal lies in body language and only includes the mouth compared to genuine smiles, which involve most of the face. Elliot also...
Hey, Lycan, I said the other day that this dude reminded me of you, and somebody's like, how? No, I don't know. He just reminds me of you. I think I've seen videos of you in your van or something, I don't know, and it reminded me of you. Somebody said I was crazy yesterday. But now you say it's your doppelganger, so...
I
No,
appreciate
you're not
your
like
name, but
me. Do
I
I?
appreciate your name. I appreciate your name.
Oh, you do, huh? So we got games, huh? No, Frank, shit. No, Lycan, I don't think you're like this dude. It just reminded me of you whenever he's in his car like that. There was one time that reminded me of you. No, you're not like him. Thank you for saying I smell like roses, Frank.
Well, we all know roses really smell like poo, according to Outcast.
Boo Boo Kitty, hello. Hey.
So wrote that he planned to kill his younger half-brother Jazz and stepmother Sumaya. He accredited this decision to his hatred for how Sumaya would supposedly mistreat him, and even though he mentioned that he and his half-brother had grown closer over the previous year, he could not bear the thought of having someone else live the life that he wanted.
What are you doing, Jazz?
Elliot wrote that Sumaya would allegedly chastise him, saying that Jazz would go on to become a successful actor. He'd have lots of friends, whereas Elliot would not.
I'll be a god, exacting my retribution, and all those who deserve it. And you do deserve it, just for the crime of living a better life than me. All you popular kids, you've never accepted me. All I've ever wanted was to love you and to be loved by you. I wanted a girlfriend. I wanted sex. I wanted love, affection, adoration. You think I'm unworthy of it. That's a crime that can never be forgiven.
These thoughts are indicative of severe antisocial personality disorder. Based on the contents of the email, his desire for revenge and his willingness to harm others in such a callous and vicious manner indicates a complete lack of empathy and poor moral conscience, although it was never expected that he would take his anger so far. Next, it would be uncovered that the original day of Elliot's retribution was previously set for April 26, 2014. This was due to the fact that he knew of his father's scheduled business trip, which guaranteed his absence. Elliot was sure he would be able to successfully complete the murders of his stepmom and stepbrother without worrying if he would have to kill his father. But 2 days before his arranged day of carnage, Elliot fell ill with a cold, and his dad arrived home from his trip earlier than expected. It seemed in Elliot's murderous mind that it wasn't of the right timing to commit his so-called revenge, as he so desperately wanted things to be perfect. He would then reset the date for May 24th, almost a month later. But instead, for an unverified reason, the horrifying incident would occur the night prior, perhaps suggesting that Elliot assumed his retribution would last into the early morning hours.
And in turn, I will deny all of you life. It's only fair. I hate all of you. Humanity is a disgusting, wretched, depraved species.
While unaware that his future plans would be unexpectedly put on hold, Elliot released multiple YouTube videos 1 week prior to April 26, 2014, showcasing his frustrations with life. However, he wouldn't release his final video until the day of the shooting, which puts into detail just exactly what he intended to do. Although he does not speak of his set plan in the initial videos, it goes to show how his enraged mindset grew with each day.
Oh, check it out. There's me. In all my fabulousness. Oh yeah. Elliot Rodger. I am so awesome.
When Elliot made these videos, he likely didn't imagine where they might end up. In the last place, someone with a fragile ego would want them: Reddit. A participant located some of Elliot's videos, which many of the users described as disturbing and unpleasant to watch. One of them being a student at UCSB, who would then go on to confirm the deadly event to their fellow online peers. Many of the comments regarded Elliot's awkward mannerisms, some even predicting that he would go on to commit a terrible act. But others would shockingly side with Elliot, expressing their synonymous feelings of loneliness. Some of the accounts wished that they had warned police when they initially viewed the troubling content, but it was later revealed that the authorities had a chance to prevent the attack well before the memorable day.
This world, it's so twisted. It's so cruel. And you girls make it cruel. You girls have starved me of and enjoyment and pleasure for my entire youth. You've taken 8 years away from my life. 8 years I'll never get back.
Elliot's mother came across the uncomfortable videos soon after they were posted, while researching her son's name, fearing that he may have been transported to a nearby hospital. The worried mother hadn't heard from Elliot in 3 to 4 days and was feeling very uneasy regarding his whereabouts. After finding the alarming content, she immediately contacted mental health officials, who alerted the local authorities. Officers then began to look for Elliot and found him in his apartment before proceeding to ask about the videos. When conducting the check, police surmised Elliot to be an extremely polite young man that did not seem to be acting in a concerning manner. The 22-year-old convinced the authorities that he was completely fine, stating that he would not hurt himself or anyone else. Compared to the bold presence Elliot portrays on camera, in reality, he was very withdrawn and quiet. While the officers may have thought Elliot to be a normal resident of the college town, they never would have guessed that they were talking to a cold-blooded killer who could have been stopped.
Yeah, he could have done a lot. He wasn't bad looking, like somebody said above. He wasn't bad looking. I agree. Like, all he had to do is chill the fuck out. I mean, he could have got a woman. Everybody gets something, you know? I mean, there's ugly ass people that has 6 kids. They've been screwed 6 times at least. Come on. The V-neck. Yeah, I don't like the V-neck. Lycan, you know about incels. Is the way this dude was the way most incels are? I used to think you were an incel, Lycan, until I started digging on this dude. Right, Lycan, this dude could have got laid. That's what I'm saying. Even the ugly people get laid. Oh, wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Just think, y'all, there's so many other men that act like this.
Yeah, Andrew Tate.
Yeah. Hey, Tony. Hey. Yeah, I don't know why I streamed to my other channel. I didn't mean to do that this time. The time that I don't mean to, it does it. And I don't know how to get it off there. He's that anti-Andrew Tate. See, I didn't think he reminded me of Andrew Tate either.
No, he is Andrew Tate. The only difference is people are listening to Andrew Tate. That's the difference. Andrew Tate has managed to pump his content everywhere by that university rubbish that he does.
I just don't see
They
Andrew as a cell, really.
Yeah, trust me. Listen,
I don't know.
that guy growing up
I don't
was
see him acting
bullied.
like this dude.
You know why? Because now he's got a platform. Well, he had a platform. If he didn't have the platform, he'd be doing something like this, I'm telling you.
It's really sad, though, that this poor kid, you know, and I don't know. Seems like he wanted to be his dad. Because he said after his dad got a fiance or girlfriend or something, that's when he changed. When he was little, you know. Which the dude wasn't very old when he passed. Yes, he's very angry. And girls can sense stuff like that with people. And when you're being fucking, your ego's huge and you think you're something and you're not. And girls can sense that. Yeah, Sunshine. What, trafficking? I don't know. So, Lycan, you pretty much got to be an exploiter or you're fucked. No, keep talking. I know you know about Elliot Rodger here. Right, Boo Boo Kitty? Don't pump his head up too big now. Be like Frank up here. Frank and his big head. Little ears.
What's with all the insults at me?
You want me to insult you about your ears? You ain't got no ears.
No, I said, what's with all the insults aimed at me? I've done nothing but good for you, and you're just tearing me down. It hurts my feelings.
He didn't unalive his family, Tony. Here, we'll continue watching this documentary. We're almost done.
Yes, I'm a shy, quiet guy, but I have good qualities to myself. I'm a gentleman. You know, I'm sophisticated. I'm polite. I have good values. And I can be fun too, if they just give me a chance to open up. But girls never give me a chance because they're evil and cruel like that.
Although Elliot talked about his plan for the Day of Retribution in his most infamous video, he left out the horrific agenda that was supposed to take place one day before the actual attack. This included his idea of kidnapping, tormenting, and killing his victims within his apartment. He admitted that in order to do so, he must eliminate his 2 housemates so he can utilize the space for his diabolical activity. Next, he schemed to lure people in one by one, to which he alluded that monstrous acts would be performed. Unsurprisingly, Elliot stated that he would torture those he deemed attractive first. He detailed how he would pour boiling water on their bare skin, along with flaying, stripping, and cutting their flesh before removing their heads. Finally, Elliot wanted to disperse the severed body parts amongst the city streets, while simultaneously executing his bloody rampage.
You will finally see that I am, in truth, the superior one. The true alpha male.
To begin his day of terror, Elliot attacked and killed 19-year-old George Chin, a friend of his roommates. He left his body in the fetal position, surrounded by blood-ridden paper towels in the apartment bathroom. The autopsy report would identify that George had been stabbed approximately 94 times. Elliot then took out his rage on his 2 roommates, 20-year-olds Waihan Wong and Chen Hong. He attacked and killed them in one of the bedrooms, leaving their bodies face down with bed sheets and clothes over them. They too died from multiple stab wounds. Hours after taking the lives of his first 3 victims, Elliot took his evil plan to the streets of Isla Vista. It's unknown what exactly he was doing in the time between killing his roommates and when he was spotted next. He was apparently...
Okay, I got a question for liking on this here. Sociopaths aren't born, though, are they? Isn't it psychopaths are born?
Yeah, psychopaths are born.
Psychopaths are born.
Sociopath.
Sociopaths is on their upraising and are made.
Yeah, they tend to show signs of sociopathism when they turn like 16 to 18.
Yeah, I thought that. So, yeah. He was born a psychopath. Psychopaths are born, yeah. How did I remember that? Because I thought I was a psychopath once. I still might be, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you are.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you made me a sociopath.
Why all the accusations against me? Just a nice boy trying to be a nice boy, and you're just horrible all the time to me. It's like you want everyone to hate me.
That's what I'm thinking, like, and said his mom raised him and spoiled him. He was a spoiled little rich kid. Then he seen his dad got a new girlfriend or something, and he got jealous of his dad having that new girlfriend, and he thought, well, if his dad can do it, he can do it. I think there's some narcissism, strong narcissism. Yeah, I think it's narcissism, and he's a sociopath, or was. I don't think he was born. I don't know. Because his dad was famous or something, wasn't he? Or something to do with Hunger Games, or him and his dad.
Yeah, his
I
dad-
don't know.
His dad was a producer.
His dad was a
Film
producer of Hunger Games.
No, his dad was a film producer.
Oh,
So
something to
there'd
do
have
with
been
Hunger
many.
Games, though, too, wasn't he?
Yeah, there'd have been many producers in Hunger Games. They put the money up, and then once the film's made, they get the majority of the cut.
Oh, kind of like a commission. Yeah, I think he was just a spoiled little rich kid, and it turned him into this. Because he thought, just because he was spoiled and rich at home and he could get whatever he wanted with his mama, he thought he could get whatever he wanted in the real world. You know what I'm saying? And everybody owed him something. His mom was a nurse. Yeah. Amen to that. Like, and a lot of people with a shitty childhood use that to make their future not shitty. You use it to better yourself. His face was flawless. He was a cute little kid. If his ego wasn't so fucking big and shit. He might have got laid. Like I say, yeah, all you gotta do is calm down. All right, we're gonna continue watching. Genetics. That is true because there's some genetics in my family. Yeah.
Family of psychopaths.
Pretty much. A lot of people with shitty childhoods just fucking become a drug user. I mean, not all of them, but a lot of people do. And I was one of them. I'm not judging. You know what I'm saying? I was one of them that became a drug user when I was younger because of some shit that happened in my past. You know, it's like, fuck. It's not an excuse, but it happens. But I've seen a lot of people with shitty childhoods use it to make a bright future. True liking it just maybe Kohlberger is the one this year, you know, that's going to be, because it's been what, 2012, 11 years.
Ten.
Police scene at approximately 4:40 in the afternoon on May 23, 2014, while boarding a local bus in Santa Barbara. Bizarrely, two young girls were also walking in front of him, visibly shaken up. They sat very close together, once in their seat, while Elliot sat directly behind them. He supposedly whispered, "Don't look back," while his hand rested in his backpack, suggesting a gun was in his possession. He was apparently sharply glaring at the pair and looked very angry. The girls seemed like they were being held hostage by Elliot and possibly intimidated into getting on the bus with him. Unfortunately, it's unclear as to what may have happened to the individuals before and after this. Around 9:15 p.m., Elliot made his way to the Alpha Phi house in Isla Vista, California, where he planned to kill every girl that resided in the well-known sorority. He knocked on the large wooden door for 3 minutes straight, but the tenants refused to answer. Luckily for the girls, a code was required to enter, something apparently Elliot didn't know, although it was later discovered that he'd been stalking the sorority for quite some time. His inflated sense of self-esteem may have led him to think that someone would open the door for him without question. In his mind, he was an extremely attractive and well-dressed young man. Why wouldn't the girls open the door? Fortunately, the sorority sisters were able to dodge the determined Elliot, but others weren't so lucky.
I'm getting advised we got multiple gunshot wounds on the corner of Del Norte and Segovia. Del Norte and Segovia. Unfortunately, dramatic code Segovia and Del Norte. I need 3 influencers here.
On the day of retribution, I am going to enter the hottest sorority house of UCSB.
About 30 seconds after the pounding at their front door stopped, the young women immediately heard gunshots ringing out from the nearby surroundings. When they peered out of their windows, they were horrified to see 3 young women laying along the sidewalk in grass. When police responded to the scene, they found 19-year-old Veronica Wise and 22-year-old Katie Cooper deceased, resulting from multiple gunshot wounds.
911, was that a severe emergency?
We have a shooting on Embarcadero Del Norte.
Embarcadero, okay, we're on Embarcadero Del Norte.
Goleta, Isla Vista.
No, I know. Where on, like, what block or what's the nearest cross streets in there?
It is Segovia.
Okay.
Segovia, Embarcadero Del Norte.
Did you actually see the person shooting the gun, or did you see what it made contact with, or did you just hear it?
I saw the car.
You saw a car? Did it make contact with anybody?
Yeah.
Who?
We have 3 girls, 3 women.
They got shot?
Yes.
Both girls were part of the Tri Delta sorority at UCSB and were simply walking to their intended destinations before being viciously shot and killed by Elliot. The third gunshot victim could be heard yelling, "I'm going to die," repeatedly while speaking to her mother on the phone, but it was later reported that she survived the horrific ordeal. Next, at approximately 9:27 p.m., officers responded to numerous gunshots being heard from the area of Embarcadero Del Norte and Pardal Road. After arriving, police spotted a couple of local college kids standing on the corner and asked about the tumultuous sounds. The students claimed that it was merely fireworks, but the officers would soon come to understand that it was far from anything celebratory.
Humanity is a disgusting, wretched, depraved species. If I had it in my power, I would stop at nothing to reduce every single one of you to mountains of skulls and rivers of blood.
After speaking with the college kids, police noticed a black BMW parked near the Isla Vista Deli, a local diner. Seconds later, they identified a young male frantically running to the vehicle before fleeing eastbound on Pardal. Little did the officers know the man would turn out to be Elliot Rodger, the prime murder suspect in this harrowing case.
911, what's the address of the emergency? You're guessing somebody else is on the line. Okay. I don't know what happened. Okay, were you injured? Were you injured? Okay, where are you? Somebody else is. We're at Ivy Deli in Isla Vista. Okay, you're at Ivy Deli and somebody shot? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, I understand. Okay, I'm getting help started. Do you know how many people are hurt? I don't know. Hello? Yes. 34. Okay, then I'll let you talk to him.
Soon the police heard screaming from inside of the deli and began making their way to the traumatized bystanders. Inside, they found a young man profusely bleeding while lying on the ground with a single gunshot wound to his chest. He would eventually be identified as 20-year-old Christopher Martinez, a student at UCSB. Initially, it was reported that Christopher could be seen breathing when police first arrived, but soon one of the officers provided CPR as his breaths were no longer visible. Unfortunately, the first aid was to no avail. But Elliot's murderous rampage was far from over. Elliot continued driving around the town of Isla Vista while simultaneously shooting the civilians and hitting them with his car, where he injured multiple people. During this time, numerous police officers responded. Some were forced to engage in shootouts with the killer.
I was shot at from a steel BMW. Went down from elevator down. Easy down, progress. We have another gunshot. Shots fired, shots fired.
The first shootout took place on Del Playa Road, where Elliot fired his weapon at one of the authorities from his BMW. Taking shelter between two parked cars, the officer was forced to shoot back in defense, but was unable to stop him. Next, Elliot traveled along Sabato Tarde Road while shooting his handgun out of his window at passing citizens. Fearing for their lives and those around, multiple officers amongst the area opened fire on the car, with only one round confirmed to have entered the vehicle. The bullet wounded Elliot on his upper left thigh, but unfortunately could not bring the ambush to a stop.
All those popular kids who live such lives of hedonistic pleasure while I've had to rot in loneliness for all these years. They've all looked down upon me every time I tried to go out and join them. They've all treated me like a mouse. Well, now, I will be a god compared to you. You will all be animals. You are animals.
The horrific incident would eventually come to an end at approximately 9:35 p.m., when Elliot subsequently crashed his vehicle into the back of a parked black Jeep on Del Playa Road. Officers rushed the scene, where they found an additional victim that had been thrown off of his bike after being hit with Elliot's car. The authorities placed him in handcuffs, unsure if the person had been involved with the shooting. Quickly, they established that the individual was an innocent victim and immediately provided medical treatment for his wounds.
I am so godlike.
The shooting lasted a harrowing 8 minutes, but in that time, the community of Isla Vista would be drastically altered in the most sickening way. Police immediately began to investigate how someone could commit such an atrocity, and eventually found a shocking piece of information.
My name's Sean, I'm apartment manager at ID, like the apartment. And I know something going on in ID. I just got an email from one of the residents, and it's like really disturbing. And it's like,
okay, there's been a shooting in ID.
No, I understand that, but I got an email from a resident, and it's like 141 pages long, and it says like the life of Elliot Rodger.
Okay.
At the end, it talks about killing people.
Okay, yeah, we actually have somebody else. What's your name?
Following the shooting, police once again made their way to Elliot's apartment, where they uncovered the bodies of his roommates, Wei-Han Wong and Chen Hong, and their friend, George Chin. The horror continued to unfold as law enforcement searched Elliot's room, where they found disturbing pieces of evidence, indicating that he had been planning the attack for an extensive amount of time. This included a small sledgehammer, one 18-inch blade machete, a zombie killer fixed blade knife, a folding knife, lottery tickets, a book entitled The Art of Seduction, various handgun cases, a printout of his 137-page email, personal journals, a hand-drawn picture of a person being stabbed by multiple knives, along with several additional items. The journal looked like it had been torn apart, but the latest entry on May 23, 2014 read, "I had to tear some pages out because I feared my intentions would be discovered. I taped them back together as fast as I could. This is it. In 1 hour, I will have my revenge on this cruel world. I hate you all. Die." Additionally, one of Elliot's button-up shirts and a pair of denim jeans were entangled in his bed sheets. A majority of the clothing was suffused in blood, most likely the outfit that Elliot wore while killing his roommates and their friend. Officers then noticed lengthy slashes and cuts that had been made to the bed, which suggests that Elliot may have been practicing how to use the deadly weapon before turning it on his first 3 victims. But most eerily of all, authorities discovered Elliot's computer resting atop his sheets, open with the words, "Your video has been uploaded," written across the screen. The ominous video would come to be Elliot's final and most notorious YouTube log, detailing the chilling and unimaginable plan to enact his revenge on the people of Isla Vista, entitled Elliot Rodger's Retribution. Unfortunately, these items were found much too late, after Elliot had already carried out the truly evil act. To this day, many consider Elliot to be a glorious incel hero, but to most, he is known as a cold-blooded killer. Some claim that Elliot has provided them with inspiration, including the mass murderer Alec Manassian, who killed 11 people in 2018. Unfortunately, Elliot is still highly regarded as a hero to his cult following. Before authorities were able to ensure that Elliot faced the necessary consequences, he had completed his structured plan. Within Elliot's car, police found a Sig Sauer pistol, several loaded magazines, and a mix of unidentified prescription drugs. They also discovered Elliot's iPhone 4, containing 200 selfies, along with his infamous vlogs. The autopsy would later confirm that Elliot ended his life. But most would argue that the so-called incel hero took the easy way out, while so many had to endure the worst kind of suffering and pain. Within the short period of time, he would go on to injure 14 people and viciously murder 6 innocent victims.
Do you know how much misery you've caused me? I'm such a nice guy. Why won't you give me a chance?
ABC News exclusive tonight.
Okay, that's over. Now we're going to watch this little short one here on his father. Slow it down a little bit.
Tonight, you'll remember this face. Elliot Rodger, the gunman from that shooting rampage at UC Santa Barbara last month, killing 6, wounding 13 others, and the chilling videos he left behind. So many asking, were there warning signs? Tonight here, his father is speaking for the first time with Barbara Walters, who asks, did he know his son was sick?
How are you?
Every night I go to sleep. I wake up and I think of those young men and young women that have died and that were injured and were terrorized. And my son did that. My son caused so much pain and suffering for so many families.
When you wake up in the morning, what do you think?
It's like a reverse nightmare situation. When you go to sleep normally, you have a nightmare and you wake up and, oh, everything's okay.
Yeah.
Now I go to sleep, I might have a nice dream. And then I wake up and then slowly the truth of what happened dawns on me. And that is that my son was a mass murderer.
You did not think that Elliot was suicidal, or certainly not homicidal.
There's no way I thought that this boy could hurt a flea. I mean, this is the most unbelievable thing, Barbara. What I don't get is we didn't see this coming at all.
Did you know that he was sick?
No. This is the American horror story, or the world's horror story, is when you have somebody who on the outside is one thing and on the inside is something completely different, and you don't see it.
And Barbara's with us here now. And Barbara, I wanted to get back to something he just said to you. He said, we didn't see this coming at all. And a lot of people at home are going to say, we saw the videos of that boy. How did they not see any warning signs?
Well, they knew their son was troubled. They even thought that he might want to take his own life. They never thought that he would want to kill others.
Yeah, this is going to frighten a lot of people. Much more tomorrow night. In the meantime, you told us you'd be back time and again with special assignments, and it's great to have you back tonight.
You're not done with me yet.
On the phone, I have Lenny Shaw. He knew Elliot Rodger. Lenny, I want to talk to you first. Did he discuss this with you, this feeling of being rejected by women and his intense desire to have social contact?
Oh, yes. I saw Elliot, met Elliot about maybe 7 or 8 times, maybe at the most 10 times. And yes, that was a nearly constant refrain of his.
Now, my understanding is that he complained about not having social interaction, yet the evidence of it, say, in his calendar is that he was busy all day in social interactions, and other kids tried to reach out to him, and he was the one rather being sort of rejecting. Did you see that sort of thing?
Well, he was. You would immediately see how awkward he was in just about any situation, and how shy he was, and how he was kind of afraid to mix in. Now, let me just quickly add, he didn't talk about his unusual, to put it mildly, feelings about women to just about anyone. Our mutual friends had indicated that I was cool, and so he felt free to express his wilder fantasies.
Did you ever try to get him to mental health professionals? Did you ever want to report him to police?
It was not. I didn't feel that I knew him well enough. I did not know his family at all. Our mutual friends were people about his age. I met. These were former students of mine who are now adults.
Were they concerned about him?
Oh, they were always concerned about him.
And Lenny, my understanding is that when you heard this happen in Isla Vista, you knew immediately it was him.
Oh, yes. I knew immediately it was him. Yeah.
I go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, Lenny. Okay, so this guy that we see in his manifesto and in his video, he seems very confident, but then we also hear people describe him as awkward and shy. Was he a combination of both? Was he the guy that you saw in the video, or did you see a different version of Elliot?
Well, he was both of those things, but he was also, I did see him on more than one occasion, actually with tears in his eyes. Now, I'm not trying to humanize him. He was still crying. He wasn't out now crying, but his eyes were moist. He was still talking about, about himself, and he was still feeling sorry for himself, but he did show some emotion. He wasn't always the person that scary person that you see in particularly that final video.
Thanks, Lenny. He may not have been without emotion, but he was without empathy, at least towards the ends here. Judy, you're nodding at that.
I am, and I'm thinking back to the last block where we talked about the fact that this narcissism is part of his profile, but where does it come from, and how does it play into the fact that he wanted to commit a mass murder? And this is where the research actually shows us some really interesting things, because people who tend to go and shoot up schools and movie theaters are people who are single, young, white males who tend to come from affluent families. And these types of people are more likely to take their personal pain out on the entire world, thinking that the world owes them something. Whereas when you look at all the other social demographics, people can be violent when they get to that point, but they tend to just aggress on intimate partners and family members.
And they're trying to, the violence is part of their survival mechanism, not as part of some sense of entitlement.
It was on this street corner where
There was his dad. You're okay, Ella. I was questioning myself while I was sitting up here. Did Diane die? And I didn't know it. This next one we're going to listen to is a survivor from the shooting. But we just watched his dad. His dad, I don't know. He didn't, I don't know. I don't think his dad was the best person in his life growing up for him. His mom probably done what she could.
Where I met Sierra Swartz just a half hour after she was shot at Friday night. She was crying and didn't fully understand what happened to her. We retraced her steps and found the bullet holes intended for her.
This was the one that I felt. I'm almost positive that I felt this one because I felt it, you know.
For Sierra Swartz, the bullet holes in the fence make that harrowing night a reality. The night 22-year-old Elliot Rodger went on a rampage.
And then he lifted up like a little black pistol and I just thought it was like an airsoft gun or something. So I was like, hey, like, what up? And I turned around and I started walking the other way.
That walk turned into a run for her life after more shots were fired at her. She turned the corner onto Del Playa Drive and ran into the first open door she saw.
I just ran inside. I just ran in their house and I was like, I just got shot at. Please, like, just let me hang out here for a second.
Ryan Gerard and his two friends were on the couch when Swartz and an older homeless man asked to take shelter.
She was crying, saying, he has a gun, and ran right into our house.
They locked the doors, turned off all the lights, and called 911.
I think we did the best job we could have done.
In the light of day, a bullet was found lodged in the side of their house. The night of the shooting, Swartz was walking down the street back to her house just a block away. That's when she saw the black BMW drive up beside her with Rodger in the driver's seat.
So he did it so nonchalantly. He was just driving, he smiled at me, and then he said something, and then he just like lifted up like this and just started shooting.
She didn't know 6 people had already been killed when the gun was pointed at her.
The fact that I could remember feeling the wind pass through my face, like I didn't even know that happened in a gunshot.
She says she's feeling everything from sad, angry to empty, and left the small college town to cope back home in San Diego. As for Gerard, he hasn't slept at his home, fearing the worst.
It's always fine during the day, but when it gets dark again, you kind of get this eerie feeling that it's all going to happen over again, and that when you're sitting there, you kind of think you're going to see this girl and this old man run through the fence again, and it's really nerve-wracking.
Sierra Swartz and Ryan Gerard have not seen each other since that night. They said once a few days goes by, they'd like to see each other again, this time under different circumstances. Reporting in Isla Vista, I'm Victoria Sanchez.
I'm just trying to get all this information out there for us so we can discuss it a little better, because I know a lot of people have no clue who this guy was. And there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know that I've learned from watching these. Who knows who Dr. Todd Grande is? Do you know who it is?
Yeah.
He went over Elliot Rodger. I want to watch that too. I like Dr.
What now?
Todd. What?
I said, what now?
We're going to watch something else.
Yeah, okay.
If nobody's got any questions, I just want to watch all the clips I want to watch and then talk about it. You know what I mean? So there's not much more I want to show. I do want to show this on Dr. Todd, though.
Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question asks so I can analyze the mental health and personality factors that may be at work in the case of Elliot Rodger. Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. So here I'll look at the background of Elliot Rodger. I'll move to the timeline of the crime, and then I'll talk about the mental health and personality factors. Elliot Rodger was born on July 24, 1991 in London, England. He had one younger sister. He was biracial. His mother was Chinese and his father English. When he was 5 years old, his family moved to Los Angeles, California. His parents divorced when he was 7. They had joint custody of Rodger and his sister. That same year, Rodger was described as shy and received therapy for Lisp, which was corrected after several sessions. Roger had mental health difficulties early on. He was treated by several mental health professionals starting when he was 8 years old. I'll cover more of that in the mental health and personality factors section. Roger did not play any individual or team sports or participate in any extracurricular activities. He earned poor grades in school, but his grades improved significantly during the last 3 years of high school. He graduated from high school in 2009 and attended college for a short time. In 2011, not long before he dropped out of college, he moved to Isla Vista. That same year, he took karate lessons. He said that the ability to fight better is power and boosts confidence. In December of 2012, Roger bought a Glock 34 semi-automatic pistol. It is believed this was his first overt act in furtherance of planning his attack. He would eventually purchase 2 Sig Sauer 226 semi-automatic pistols as well. Roger had several contacts with law enforcement prior to the attack, none of which resulted in a criminal history. On February 6, 2013, he called the police and said that the owner of a white BMW dented the door of his vehicle. On July 20, 2013, Roger consumed alcohol and went to a party, where he climbed a 10-foot ledge and sat down. Other people climbed onto the ledge and started talking with one another, but they were ignoring Roger. Roger started insulting the individuals, and they reciprocated. The situation escalated to the point where Roger started pushing them. His main target was the females. Unable to push anyone over the ledge, Roger ended up being pushed and fell off the ledge, fracturing his left ankle. He still managed to walk away from the party, but he remembered that he left his sunglasses behind. He returned to what he thought was the correct house, but Roger was intoxicated and had selected a completely different house. The occupants of that house called him names and physically assaulted him. Roger reported the activity to the police, but minimized his role as the aggressor. January 15, 2014, Roger called the police because he suspected his roommate had stolen $22 worth of candles from him. The roommate accused Roger of moving his property around the apartment, but after the candles were found under the roommate's bed, the roommate was arrested. The case was dismissed due to insufficient evidence. On April 30, 2014, a staff member at a crisis line called the police looking for a welfare check. The staff member had received a call from Roger's mother, who was worried about the content of a video Roger had published on YouTube. The police interviewed Roger at his home, but they found him to be shy, timid, and polite, and they took no action. May 6, 2014, Roger was involved in an incident where he blocked another car with his BMW and entered into a verbal altercation with the driver, and later the driver's girlfriend when she confronted Roger. This brings us to May 23, 2014. Roger, now 22 years old, stabs 3 men at his apartment in Isla Vista. 2 of those men were his roommates, including the one who took the candles. At 7:38 p.m., Roger buys a triple vanilla latte from a Starbucks not far from his home. At 9:17 p.m., Roger uploads a video to YouTube called Retribution. A minute later, he emails a 137-page manifesto to various people. He then drove to the Alpha Phi sorority house, where he shot 2 women and wounded another. He entered his vehicle and started driving around, shooting into a coffee house and a deli, killing a man in the deli. He continued his rampage by shooting at people and hitting people with his vehicle. He exchanged gunfire with the police on 2 occasions. He was shot in the hip during the second exchange. He crashed his BMW at an intersection. The police would find Roger dead in that vehicle from a self-inflicted gunshot wound at 9:35 p.m. In addition to the 6 homicides, Roger injured 14 people, 7 from gunfire and 7 from blunt trauma. He had hit them with his vehicle. Now moving to the mental health and personality factors. Roger had a long history of mental health difficulties. At age 7, Roger would make good eye contact with people when speaking, but he wouldn't really talk unless somebody asked him a direct question. He preferred to write information down on paper rather than talking. He would hold his ears when there was a loud noise. He demonstrated repetitive behaviors like tapping his feet and his leg and repeating certain words. In 2007, Roger was diagnosed with pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified. This classification was available in the DSM-4 and was a type of autistic disorder. The equivalent disorder in the DSM-5 would be autism spectrum disorder. It is also believed that Roger was depressed and anxious. He took various medications to treat those conditions. Let's take a look at some of Roger's behavioral characteristics. It was said that he was possessive of his property. He also appeared to be legalistic, like that whole thing with the candles, and obsessing over dents in his car. He was a very picky eater. He didn't like anything gooey. When he was young, he did not act out when he was angry. Rather, he would tense his entire body and clench his teeth. In this regard, there weren't many warning signs that Roger would become a killer. He didn't get in fights, hurt animals, set fires, or otherwise damage property. He often mentioned how he envied other people because they were living a better life than he was. He was specifically frustrated with romantic couples. He would take cell phone videos of couples in his community who were bothering him and avoid restaurants where a lot of couples would be dining. I'm going to guess he didn't have any special affection for Valentine's Day. He stayed in shape. He ate healthy and exercised. He also wore designer clothing and expensive sunglasses. He wanted to appear wealthy. Roger believed that entry-level jobs were beneath him. He didn't want to get involved in any type of menial work. For a time when he was a teenager, he did work for a friend doing construction, although much of his money came from an allowance his father gave him and funds from other family members. He specifically bought a BMW because he thought it would help him find a girlfriend, when all they really do is help you find your tools in a parts store or a mechanic. He played a lot of video games, especially World of Warcraft and Halo. His favorite movies were Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. His favorite television show was Game of Thrones. I found this interesting because in Game of Thrones, there was this group called the Night's Watch. They were celibate, always wore black, it was always snowing at the wall that they guarded, and they were cut off from society. It seemed like a depressing job assignment. Also in that series, there were many examples of violence-based problem solving. Based on Roger's behavior, here is a potential personality profile. mid-range to above average openness to experience. He was somewhat creative. He did write a manifesto, and he may have experienced emotions intensely. We see mid-range conscientiousness. He seemed to like order, but at the same time, he was impulsive, like getting in arguments. We see low extroversion. He had few positive emotions, was shy, and analytical. We see low agreeableness. He did not trust people, was not modest, and usually people who want to kill all of humankind don't qualify as altruistic. His level of neuroticism was high. He was angry, depressed, anxious, emotionally reactive, and had difficulty resisting temptation. In addition to the autism spectrum disorder, depression, and anxiety, Roger appeared to have some symptoms of obsessive-compulsive personality, as indicated by the perfectionism, being picky with food, and being possessive of property. He also appeared to have characteristics of vulnerable narcissism, like resentfulness, shame, envy, and hypersensitivity to criticism. One could argue that, other than the manipulation symptom, which isn't really clear from the reports we have on Roger, his behavior did seem to align with the remaining symptoms associated with narcissistic personality disorder: grandiosity, fantasy, envy, entitlement, arrogance, believing oneself to be special, requiring excessive admiration, and having a lack of empathy. A major theme of both his retribution video and his manifesto is this idea that he was rejected by women and extremely lonely. Looking specifically at his video, we see a few of his beliefs and statements that stand out. Women passed over him and selected other men who were obnoxious. Roger believed himself to be superior to those men. He called himself the supreme gentleman. He was denied sexual relationships with women. He felt this denial was criminal, and society needed to pay for it. He was going to give those offenders exactly what they deserved. He talked about how people made him suffer, and how now he was going to make them suffer. He had an intense hatred of everybody, but especially of women and men who were with women. He believed that committing homicide would prove that he was an alpha male, and it would make him a god. He said that if he had the power, he would annihilate everyone on the planet. The content of his video indicates that he was extremely angry and despondent about rejection, but his mannerisms seem unusual based on the content of his narrative. He had this weird, forced laugh, and he was deliberate and spoke at a consistent rate throughout the video. He was incredibly calm for somebody who was about to commit multiple homicides. Combining this video with other information, there's this idea that Roger was genuinely confused as to why women were not interested in him. He really didn't understand why they found him unattractive and why they found other men attractive. He believed he was doing everything that women wanted. He had a BMW, nice clothes, $300 sunglasses. I think what happened here with Roger is that he looked at the world and thought that everybody had the same thoughts and feelings that he had. He believed everyone was narcissistic. It didn't make sense to him that there wasn't some materialistic formula he could use to connect with women. It was almost like mathematics to him. He would do certain things and women would be attracted to him. He didn't need any depth or sensitivity. His inability to see things from the perspective of others kept him trapped in a world of loneliness and rejection, although his social awkwardness didn't help him either. This is a pretty good example of how a lack of insight can lead to real problems. What I find interesting is that Roger had been treated by a number of mental health professionals who addressed his social awkwardness on many occasions. I think that Roger simply couldn't reach a point where he could see how others viewed him. His vulnerable narcissism allowed the anger to stay inside him for a long time, building up like a pressure cooker. It was probably the decision to end his own life that opened up the possibility of revenge. This allowed him to carry out the attack. If he was going to destroy himself because of what he believed others did, he was going to make them pay a price in that process. Elliot Rodger has become a hero to what is referred to as the incel community. Incel stands for involuntarily celibate. It's frightening that his thought pattern would connect with so many people. Those are my thoughts on Elliot Rodger. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue.
Santa Barbara killer cites childhood classmate as the reason he hated all women. Among the list of normal childhood experiences cited by spree killer Elliot Rodgers in his rambling 141-page manifesto, the killer mentions being bullied by model Monette Moyo when she was 10 years old as one reason he hates women. Normally, Tomo News wouldn't identify the woman, dragged into the spotlight by her tangential relationship to a mass killer, but her father, Hollywood stuntman John Moyo, has been vocal at dispelling any notion that his daughter could have pushed Roger to murder a decade after they last met. In his manifesto, Rodgers claims he was tormented by Monette, but her father, John Moyo, told the Daily Mail online, "She was 10 years old, for God's sake. She can barely remember the guy. He's a sociopath. She hasn't seen him since school. How is a 10-year-old girl going to bully a 12-year-old boy? He was weird then and he's weird now. He had a secret crush on her, but she was completely unaware of him. She had no idea. If you think about it, he could have killed her. He could have come after her." Elliot Rodgers took his own life Saturday after killing 6 people and being wounded by a police bullet. His own parents called the police after receiving his
home from the
I do have a couple more things I want to share, but we'll wait on that. Just a minute. So he blames it on a 10-year-old girl bullying him. They said he was a sociopath. Lycan was right. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay, I want to show y'all something here. Okay, yesterday we went over the Facebook post from Papa Roger. and stuff. Well, I'll ask for his picture. That picture on the Papa Roger account, I found it. This was the picture that he used for his profile picture. This is the Papa Roger profile picture. Okay. Do a little digging in here. You can see it. This is Portraits of the 21st Century. Here's the history behind that portrait. But it's crazy how much that side profile resembles Kohberger. In my
There's
opinion.
one, I got these for you, and there's one where there's Kohberger in a profile like that, and it's like that picture merged over it.
You got a picture of me for that, or a picture for me of that?
One sec, let me see if I can send it you.
Okay, and another thing. There was a picture of Dylan, I believe. Let me see. I got it here. Of Dylan and Maddie. Hold on a second. Uno momento. Hold on. I gotta get this picture I want to show y'all.
Okay, I didn't download them, but I did look at them. If you Google it, Papa Roger, and then I put Kohberger, pressed images, and then I clicked on the image like that, and then you got one of them next to each other, and then you got one where they're merged, and it's just on Google.
There we go. Because then we got this picture. It's of Dylan and Maddie. And y'all see that chair in the back? That fold-up chair, that logo is circled. This was a chair in their house. And look where that logo comes from. I'm not saying it's anything connected. It's just something that, well, that ain't a very clear picture, but Washington State University. That's the logo for there. Do we know anybody that went to school there? Besides Kohberger?
No, yeah. Oh, I was gonna say we know. Thingy. Well, no, he still goes to that university. I was gonna say Ethan didn't actually live there, did he? But he still went to that university, did he?
Yeah, he went to Idaho. Oh, no, that chair could have been from anybody at any time. You know what I mean? As many people in that house, but I don't know. I just thought that was weird. I know. I just don't trust Dylan. I still don't. But again, here's that picture of that Papa Roger account. And he spells Roger the same way, whoever it is, as Elliot Rodgers spelled his name. There's another little clip. I want to. No, not that. Is anybody still here with us? Yeah, somebody. Oh, 9 people. Hi. A sister went there, Wacky Tacky? Probably Ethan's. I think because of he had a twin sister and a twin brother. And they all went to, I thought they all went to Idaho. I don't know. I don't know anybody else that, Xana ain't got no siblings there, does she? Kaylee don't. Maddie was an only child, I believe. Yeah, the triplets, they all went to the same school. Yeah, because I remember in the vigil or whatever they had, the mom said that all their kids are being vandals now. They all passed it on. I guess her and their dad used to be vandals too. I don't know. Yeah, that chair was just weird.
I know there's a picture of Brian going around at the memorial, but that's been debunked by what's he called, one of the news reporters, because he actually took a picture of the guy. There. No, the guy that's the pictures that are going around. The news presenter took a picture of the guy face on, and he looks nothing like Brian.
Yeah, I seen all that. I never got into that. I didn't believe that. Okay. We're going to go inside Elliot Rodgers' mind.
Students dead, the University of California, Santa Barbara community is in mourning. The gunman who methodically planned the attack chronicled his descent into a deranged rage. How did this young man who seemed to have everything become a mass murderer? Tonight, we take a close look at the clues and his parents' futile race to try to stop him. ABC's Cecilia Vega is in Santa Barbara.
Tomorrow is the day of retribution.
Is this the latest face of evil in America?
You forced me to suffer all my life, and now I'll make you all suffer.
An angry and psychologically twisted young man whose public rantings exploded into sheer terror in a quiet California community.
Shot fired.
Taking 6 young lives and injuring 13. 22-year-old Elliot Rodger, the son of Hollywood privilege, but sexually frustrated. A virgin vowing revenge in a twisted video he posted Friday addressed at his perceived enemies, young women he says rejected him.
All those girls that I've desired so much, they would have all rejected me and looked down upon me as an inferior man if I ever made a sexual advance towards them.
Deep delusions that would turn deadly.
I hate all of you. I can't wait to give you exactly what you deserve.
And tonight, the University of California, Santa Barbara shut down. Classes canceled, flags flying at half staff, a community in mourning. Thousands coming together for an emotional memorial service.
Let us cherish the moments that we've shared with them and be grateful to have had them in our lives as friends, as family, and as loved ones.
And now new details are emerging about Rodger's life. His parents divorced. His father, Peter Rodger, a respected director who worked on the Hunger Games. But their son, Elliot, lived his life as an angry outsider. A family spokesman telling ABC News Rodger had been in therapy from 9 years old. But this painfully shy young man creating on video what he couldn't in life.
I've waited a long time for this.
Is the killer's attempt to recreate his persona in a sympathetic way and in a way where he can get understanding, relevance, meaning, where his life has no meaning at all.
This was a plan years in the making, executed methodically. The apparent revenge fantasy set in motion Friday night at 9:17 p.m. Elliot Rodger's therapist calls Elliot's mother Chin, alerting her to an email from her son with a manifesto called My Twisted World. 137 pages pouring from this tortured mind, idyllic childhood memories, painful teenage years, and finally, an elaborate plot to kill.
He's so invested in carrying out the mass killing that he'll sit down and write and edit and re-edit something that amounts to 140 pages.
Me too, Ella.
And mobilize to a degree that this becomes a project, an ambition, a career path.
His mother, alarmed, checked her son's YouTube channel. Immediately, she called her ex-husband, and they raced to Santa Barbara, saying they call police along the way. But it's too late. The first 3 victims already dead. Roger's 2 roommates, James Cheng, Yuan Hong, and George Chen, along with their friend, Wai-Han David Wong, all stabbed to death in this apartment building. A death too terrible for George Chen's parents to even contemplate.
I just don't know why this happened to our son. It's crazy. This just doesn't make any sense.
At 9:27 p.m., the first reports of a mass shooting underway.
Shots fired, shots fired.
Just as soon as we heard the noise, it was so close and just so terrifying.
Roger's next target, a sorority. He says to take revenge against all the girls who he believed rejected him.
After I've annihilated every single girl in the sorority house, I'll take to the streets of Isla Vista and slay every single person I see there.
This young man seems to have had a complete lack of skills and ability to interact with anybody, let alone the opposite sex.
He banged on the door of Alpha Phi. When nobody let him in, he shot 3 women around the corner, killing 2, Catherine Cooper and Veronica Weiss. But Roger's rampage wasn't over. 9:30 p.m., he opens fire at this deli filled with students. Surveillance video shows people diving for cover.
I honestly thought that was my last moment. I thought I was going to die.
His final victim, Christopher Michaels Martinez.
I gave him CPR for 10 minutes before the paramedics showed up.
Our son was the most important thing in the world to all of us. He was our only child, and he was so much a part of our lives. It's hard to imagine how things are going to be like now that he's gone.
At the end, Roger, driving in his black BMW, plowed down bikers and indiscriminately shot pedestrians.
Some guy ran in our house bleeding everywhere. He said he got run over by a car.
Nick Pasachuk was skateboarding with friends when Roger rammed into him, sending him flying in the air.
Both his legs are broken. His left leg was completely shattered.
By 9:33, it was over. Roger and police in a gunfight. The killer drives away, but then crashes his BMW, apparently turning the gun on himself. Police say they found 400 rounds of ammunition in Roger's car, and that he carried out his shootings with legally purchased semi-automatic handguns. He was under psychiatric care, his parents saying they did everything they could to help a shy, reclusive son, even reporting his disturbing videos to police last month. Police went to his home, but say they found no cause to search it or order a mental evaluation.
Because of the narrowness of the law, danger to self, others, or grave disability, those officers acted in accordance with the law.
But in his manifesto, Roger wrote, "If the police would have searched my room, found all of my guns and weapons, I would have been thrown in jail, denied of the chance to exact revenge on my enemies." Thankfully, that wasn't the case, but it was so close.
The problem is that we send the authorities, who are not mental health professionals, to check on this young man, and it takes a very trained eye and a lot of skill to decide whether or not this person is a risk to hurting themselves or hurting others.
His anger at sexual rejection morphing to misogynistic diatribes.
Girls gave their affection and sex and love to other men, but never to me.
And now, a worldwide outpouring, more than 1 million tweets decrying a culture that turns women into sex objects. #YesAllWomen, now fighting back.
Because every woman I know has experienced some form of sexual harassment, abuse, or assault, myself included.
And on campus tonight, remembering those lost, sharing the pain, and searching for answers.
If you agree that the people in Washington should hear that not one more person should have to die because of this ridiculous situation, then when I raise my hand, I want you to shout so loud that they're going to hear you. Not one more! Not one more!
For Nightline, I'm Cecilia Vega in Santa Barbara, California.
Yeah, Ella, it ain't letting me go into live chat either. I just tried on my phone when you said that a while ago. It like this little line pops up. Whenever I hit the thing to go into it, it'll pop up, but it don't pull up the menu. So could we have a copycat killer here with Brian Koberger trying to copy this dude? I don't know. So yeah, like I said, it is iPhones. We have some breaking news out of Massachusetts. Brian Walsh has been charged with the murder of missing mom, Anna Walsh, that we've been talking about. We knew this already, so I wonder what they had to get more. I may go live later about this, see what we can. I already had some stuff going for it, but this kind of blows it out of the water. I was waiting for this. Yeah, he didn't go after anyone else, but you think they follow everything to a T? I don't know. It's just weird in the names and the picture, and I just don't believe in coincidences, and there's a lot of coincidences with this. Breaking news, breaking news.
A major development breaking right now in the case of missing Cohasset mother Anna Walsh. We can now confirm that her husband, Brian Walsh, is charged with her murder. Again, he's been charged with her murder. The warrant against Walsh issued moments ago by a clerk magistrate in Quincy District Court. Brian Walsh had previously been charged with misleading investigators regarding the disappearance of his wife. This all started when Anna Walsh, a mother of 3 young boys, was reported missing on January 4th. That report to police came from her employer, a high-profile real estate firm in Washington, D.C. She was last seen by a friend with her husband, Brian, on New Year's Eve at their home in Cohasset. Brian Walsh was first taken into custody back on January 8th as a 5 Investigates photographer captured this exclusive video of Walsh being led into the police department there in Cohasset in handcuffs. The next day, Walsh smiled here for the cameras as he was taken to his arraignment. In court, prosecutors allege that he lied about his whereabouts after Anna's disappearance, including a trip to Home Depot where he paid $450 for various cleaning supplies. They also claim the police found blood in the Walsh's basement and a damaged knife. 5 Investigates has learned that a search of a transfer station in Peabody in this case, which is not far from his mother's home in Swampscott, resulted in the discovery of a bloody rug, a tarp, and a hacksaw. All of those, we understand, were tested for DNA evidence. Again now, the news just in, Brian Walsh, officially charged in the murder of his wife, who's been missing, Anna Walsh. We expect to learn more in the hours ahead. Of course, we're tracking every angle on this. We've got a crew of reporters on this story today. Stay with News Center 5, WCVB.com.
Who's frog throat? No, I'm not muted. I'm just looking. All right, well, I think I'm gonna end this one and start another one for Anna Walsh. I want to go over that, and I don't want to do it on this live. And I just want to do it on one channel. I don't know why this one's streamed on both. Just a second. All right, you all. I got a live set for 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time in a few minutes. So I'm going to end this and thank you all. Since you have no questions or nothing about any of this, or